Two debt collectors walking together while chatting. They are brothers named Doo Seok and Jong Bae. One day, they see a mother who happened to be in debt to them, looking at her from a distance. They both tried to scream in the middle of the crowd. Doo Seok stopped the mother and child who were about to run away. She is Ming Jae, a money lender who has been in arrears for 2 months. Feeling caught, she said that her husband had recently died and their financial situation was difficult. Doo Seok didn't care and continued to shout, which made his little daughter, Seung-yi, angry. Doo Seok tried to remain patient and asked Ming Jae for the pawn so that she wouldn't run away again. With tears in her eyes, Ming Jae said that she had nothing to pledge. And annoyed, Doo Seok pulled her little daughter and used it as pawn. There, he promised to take good care of her and gave her 1 day to prepare the money. Seung-yi kept crying even though she was given snacks and a keychain as a gift. Doo Seok was forced to do all this because he believed that a mother would do anything for her child, but it turned out that it wasn't that easy. Ming Jae tried to borrow money from other sources, but was turned down, even though the amount wasn't that large. However, she found it difficult to get it. Being an illegal immigrant from China made it difficult for people to trust her. After seeking some help, she found someone who would help her. After that she contacted Doo Seok and told him that he would pay his debt tomorrow, but unfortunately she was arrested by the police who had been looking for her for a long time. Meanwhile, Doo Seok and Jong Bae took Seung-yi to their messy and unkempt house. Doo Seok gave her a room and told her to go to sleep immediately. The next day, Doo Seok took the girl to the office, where his boss was furious when he knew about the problem. After assuring his boss that his plan would work, Doo Seok took Seung-yi to meet her mother. When the road was jammed, Seung-yi ran away and hid at that time. Doo Seok and Jong Bae were looking for her. Feeling that Seung-yi was going home, they gave up looking for her and rushed home. One night, Seung-yi arrives at her residence and if they see her, that's being questioned by immigration officers. Frightened, she hid until the officers leave. What was even more surprising is, that it isn't a regular house, but rather a guard post they have rented to live in. Losing her mother is certainly heartbreaking. Then, she decides to look for her mother. The next day, Doo Seok meets Ming Jae, who is being held at the immigration office. The officer explains that she will be deported back to China. However, the problem is that her child has not been found. This shocks Doo Seok and he is forced to lie to Ming Jae that Seung-yi is fine. At that time, Ming Jae is explaining that Seung-yi will be picked up by her uncle and sent to a wealthy family who wants to adopt her. Ming Jae also explains that Seung-yi's uncle will pay off all her debts. She is forced to do all of this for the sake of Seung-yi's survival. Doo Seok searches for Seung-yi's residence but finds nothing but her tiny shoes left behind at night. The day goes on aimlessly and with only the hope of finding her mother, when a homeless man tries to take her out. Doo Seok appears and teaches him a lesson. At that time, Seung-yi cries and asks him to help her find her mother. When Doo Seok explains everything, Seung-yi cries again, unable to believe that she has been abandoned. Doo Seok calms her down and said that Seung-yi will be adopted by a rich family and her mother will come to pick her up someday. Hearing this issue, she feels a bit better. The next day, Seung-yi tries her best to be a child who diligently cleans Doo Seok's messy house and serves him every time he comes home from work. Not long after, that Beung-dal contacts Doo Seok and asks him to take care of Seung-yi before he comes to pick her up, and pay Ming Ja's debt. At Beung-dal's request, Doo Seok takes Seung-yi for a walk around the city. Doo Seok's constant calls of Seung-yi as pawn that makes annoy her, but she laughs when she knows that Doo Seok's name means stone head. The atmosphere melted and looked better than before. Seung-yi gave him a new name, Seungbo, which means winner. That same day, Doo Seok take her to the mall to buy clothes, go to a restaurant, and take her to an idol concert as well. Although they have to sneak in because they don't have tickets. He even give her cassette and CD merchandise that Seung-yi really wants. Trying to celebrate her last day, before she left and was adopted by a new family, even though Seung-yi's heart also feels sad because she has to leave them both. The next day Doo Seok take her to the station where her uncle will pick her up. He gives Seung-yi a CD player so she can listen the idol CD. When her uncle comes, Seung-yi feels uncomfortable because she doesn't remember him at all. Doo Seok reassures Seung-yi and tells her that they will contact each other through a pager. Seung-yi's departure makes Doo Seok anxious because the pager he sent was never answered. Realizing that something is wrong, the next day Doo Seok tracks down Byung-dal's address. It turns out that Byung-dal is a fraudulent stranger who said that Seung-yi will be adopted by a rich family. In fact, Seung-yi was sold to be a maid. Doo Seok is furious, knowing that Seung-yi is in danger and is employed as a maid by the nightclub owner. Seung-yi is forced to clean toilets and do other hard work. Seung-yi can't contact Doo Seok because her pager was kept by her boss. One day, Seung-yi was injured when a drunk man threw his glass at her. The glass shards hit her cheek and caused quite a serious injury. Instead of being taken to the hospital, Seung-yi is only given regular wound medication. Doo Seok brings back Seung-yi's belongings and finds her pager in her bag. Realizing Seung-yi sent the message, Doo Seok immediately replies and gives his phone number. After a long wait, Doo Seok receives a call with a crying voice. She asked for his help. Doo Seok asks for the address of the nightclub and immediately go to it angrily. Upon arriving there, Doo Seok immediately releases Seung-yi, who is locked in the house, by breaking the glass and take her home. The club owner, who realized this, is angry, feeling that something belonging to her has been taken. Doo Seok scolds her again. The next day, Doo Seok sells his car to pay Seung-yi's ransom. After that, he takes her to the hospital for treatment. The doctor advises that Seung-yi undergo a special operation so that her wound would not scar. Even though the price is very expensive, Doo Seok still does it for the sake of her future. The next day, Doo Seok enrolls Seung-yi in school, but she is unable to be accepted. Because she is the only illegal immigrant. The only way for her to be accepted is, Doo Seok has to adopt her as his daughter. Seung-yi cries, she doesn't want Doo Seok to be her new father. Knowing this, Jung-bae advises Seung-yi and tells her that it was just an act. Seung-yi is just afraid that her mother will hate her, but Jung-bae promises to explain all to her mother someday. Poor Seung-yi doesn't know that her mother will never actually come back to her. Eventually, Doo Seok adopts Seung-yi as his daughter and cares for her like a parent. He sends her to school, provides her with food, and educates her well until she grows into a beautiful teenager. One day, when Min Jae returns to Korea, she comes to Seung-yi's school to check on her daughter. At that time, she only see her from a distance. Min Jae is surprised because it turns out that the person who has been taking care of her daughter all this time is Doo Seok. Feeling that she is fine, she decides not to interfere them anymore. Time passed, and Seung-yi finally becomes a student at a prestigious university. As a father, Doo Seok always worries about her when she comes home late. He even scolded the man who helps her home when she is drunk. Doo Seok doesn't want his beloved daughter to be owned by someone inappropriate. Jung-bae advises Doo Seok not to worry and accept it. Not long after, Seung-yi's grandmother calls Doo Seok and told him that Min Jae is in critical condition. Min Jae said that she really wants to see her daughter. Upon arriving in China, Seung-yi doesn't know how to respond because she hasn't seen her mother in decades. After walking along the path, Doo Seok and Seung-yi arrive at the simple house where her mother and grandmother stay. After a long time without seeing each other, Seung-yi finally meet her mother. They both cry, letting go of their longing for each other. After that, Min Jae prostrates herself before Doo Seok because she doesn't know how to repay his kindness. She is very grateful that her daughter has been well cared for. After apologizing for all the trouble she had caused, Min Jae asked Doo Seok for one last help. She knew she was wrong, but she felt compelled to tell him the truth that Seung-yi's father is still alive. Ming Jae asks Doo Seok to bring them together. After parting ways and returning to Korea, one morning Seung-yi sees Doo Seok's old and nearly broken shoes. Seung-yi decides to go to a part-time job to earn money and buy new shoes for her father. Meanwhile, Doo Seok searches for Seung-yi's biological father. Although he is feeling unwell, he finds out that Seung-yi's father is married and has a child. Not long after that, Doo Seok brings Seung-yi to meet them both. After leaving Seung-yi, Doo Seok feels sad and thinks that she will return with his biological father. Of course that will not happen. Seung-yi calls Doo Seok, calling himself father, and then asks him to immediately pick her up while bringing his CD player. Doo Seok picks Seung-yi up with a happy feeling, but his illness gets worse, causing him to have an accident. Since then, Doo Seok disappeared without a trace or news. 10 years later, Seung-yi has grown into a successful woman. One day, Jong Bae calls and informs them that Doo Seok has been found. When they get home, Seung-yi remembers something. Doo Seok could have used the name Seo Bo as his identity, the name she had given when she was a child. After trying to track him down, they go to the local hospital. Upon arrival, the doctor explains that Doo Seok has suffered a concussion for a long time, but because it is not treated properly, the symptoms recurred and the accident happened because he had no identification. The doctor finds a notebook with the name Seo Bo written on it and then used another name as his new identity. Then they are both escorted by the guard to meet Doo Seok in his treatment room. After a long time they don't meet, Jong Bae and Seung-yi cry regretfully because they have just found him now. Seung-yi tries to remind him that she was the pawn of the daughter he had cared for since childhood. When he shows the CD player he brings, Seung-yi brings shoes that she had not had time to give to Doo Seok at that time. When Seung-yi was about to put them on, she sees a savings book stored in his socks. Seung-yi cries, realizing that it is the guarantee of her living expenses all this time. Doo Seok, becoming an extraordinary parent who devotes the rest of his life to Seung-yi, the child he had been cared for since childhood. Even though he doesn't remember anything, Doo Seok smiles happily as his tears flow.